In this session, we will discuss how to run Visual Oil to execute oil programs. So from your Programs menu, we select All Programs, and from the list, we click on the Visual Oil program. This is the startup interface of the programs. We simply have three buttons. Clicking the first button gives us the open dialog from where we can select the oil programs. Basically, oil has two types of programs. One are the reader programs and the other are the writer programs. The reading programs have an extension IFC, which stands for Input Format Code. So in this example, we load the IGS DBO format program, which is for reading the IGS navigation files. Then Visual Oil asks us for the writing programs. They have an extension OFC, which stands for Output Format Code. So here we select this SPS source receiver program. So now both of our reading and writing programs have been loaded, and they are shown on this blue strip. That is, the IFC program is the IGS DBO format and the OFC is the SPS format. Now here we have all the buttons for defining the input and output files as well as other options. So we click this button and we select an input navigation file. Then we click this button and we specify an output file in which the data would be written in the SPS format. And from here we select that this is a receiver file. Now if we press this button, the programs would be executed and the input format would, all the data from the input format would be rewritten into the output file in SPS format. So this is how oil runs. But there is one big problem. When I click this button, so I have a range of programs. These programs may be related to navigation data, to gravity, magnetics, resistivity, seismic, and so on. So what would happen if I load a navigation data format reader file and I select for output a velocity file? So this is not possible, that what we are asking the program to read a navigation file and convert it into a velocity file. So this is not possible. To resolve this, basically we don't use this interface. This interface is for those who already know that what individual programs can do. So practically we have this thing, the second button that we would be using. This is for selecting the programs through classes. Basically, as we can see, oil has two types of classes. One is the protocol classes and the other is the tunnel classes. We would currently discuss only the protocol classes. When we talk about gravity data, velocity data, navigation data, and so on, so we say each type of data in oil belongs to a protocol class. So it means for gravity data we would have a protocol class, for navigation data we would have a protocol class. So currently, according to our database, we have these classes defined. So if I want to do the same task again, so here I would select the navigation data class, and now on my left side these are the IFC programs. On the right side I have the OFC programs. So all these programs belong to the navigation data class, and all of them can read or write navigation data only. Here at the bottom I have certain applications. These are standard applications, and in this case we need only one program, and these programs can read the data, do some mathematical operations, and then generate an output. So from our previous example, I can select the same IGS navigation and SPS source receiver file, and if I click OK, I would be having the same interface. Now for current task, what we would be doing, we need to convert weather layer data in the form of SRL file, which is SeiRA list file generated by SeiRA software. So I click here, and I don't have any IFC and OFC programs, but in the applications I have 3 programs. One is the LVL XYZ program. Okay, I click it. So here is the interface of this program. And now from here I select, let's suppose, this TKN3D file. This file basically contains line name, picket, northing, easting, elevation, V0, H0, V1, and so on if there are multiple layers, so velocity and thicknesses of successive layers. So I select this file. Now for the output, I have to define one of the files. Here actually all these files have already been generated. Let's suppose I select TKN. And then I have to select the type of data. I select elevation, and then I press this execute button, so it would run the programs, and from the SeiRA list file, an XYZ file for elevation would be generated. In the same manner, I select V0 and I rename the file here. Instead of E, I can rename it V or V0, and I press the button and we can generate the V0 file. In the same manner, I would be generating H0 file, V0 file, and so from the SRL file we would be generating 4 files. This program basically just does the formatting. It does not do any computations. These files would be used by Surfer or K-tron quick contour software, and which can then generate the contours. Okay, we again select the same weathered layer data, and now we select the LVL SPT file. So again we would be having 2 files. We select the SRL file and then an output file, and when we execute this program we would be generating an SPT file which would be having all the engineering or elastic parameters as well as standard penetration test data. This would be again an XYZ file, but in this case it would have several Z values, so we would call it as an XY, Z1, Z2, Z3, Z4, Z5 and so on file. So we would have one XYZ file generated. Similarly, we would run our final program, which is the LVL AHSA program, and so again we select our input SRL file and then an output file, and then we press this execute button, so it would generate all the parameters for the average, horizontal, spectral, amplification files, which are basically seismicity files that can further be used for contouring. So we have run the visual oil 3 times with 3 different programs. One was just simply V0, V1, H0 and elevation data. The other was for engineering and elastic parameters along with SPT, and the third program was for computing seismicity parameters. So all these files have been generated and they can be further used by Surfer or any contouring software to generate contour files or color maps.